Tu l'aimes bien, non, Oliver?
I just wanted to be with you.
Hello guys, welcome back to another reading vlog. As you guys can tell, this will be me reading books out of my comfort zone. I have 4 books picked out. I mostly read romance and mystery thriller books, but I'm not just interested in those genres. I just have not really branched out. The first book I'll be reading is My Year of Rest and Relaxation. What really drew me to this book at first was obviously the cover, and then it just sounds like an interesting premise. From what I know about this girl, it's the year 2000. She lives in New York City, and I think she's like really depressed, and she decides, you know what, I'm just gonna take a whole year to literally do nothing. And I was like, wow, that sounds really intriguing. I have seen very polarizing reviews from like all the people I follow or friends with on Goodreads. It literally ranges from people giving it a 5 stars to people giving it a 1 star. So I'm gonna sit down and read this book and continue to update you guys with my thoughts on this.
Settle down, love. Don't be so restless. Only you have the power to get through this, and you know the truth.
Hello vlog, so it is the next day since I talked to you guys, and I am 50 pages into this, and honestly it's hard to say so far what I really think about the actual story because it's still so early in the story. Like, there's only 8 chapters, but they're super long. Like, all of this is chapter 1, and it's just a lot of information thrown at you at once. So I'm still like kind of learning the story, learning who the character is, her life story, stuff like that, which I think is pretty interesting so far. I will say the story does read a bit weird, but I like weird, but it does take some getting used to, like her writing style. And I will say the main character is honestly not the most likable character, but I know that's on purpose, and I think it's entertaining to read about a non-likable main character, especially because we are reading from her point of view. Like, the language is definitely more like vulgar like other books I've read that are literary fiction, but I kind of like it because even though it is 2023 and this is set in 2000, like that is a big gap in terms of like social norms, language, all that type of stuff. So I love how even though it's set in the 2000s, it still feels modern. Like, if you would have told me, oh, this book was set in 2023, I would have believed you. So far this book does have my interest, and I'm about to continue sitting down and reading for a little bit. I just got home after being out for like the morning and afternoon, so I'm excited to just cuddle up in my bed and read some more of this. So it has been a couple days since the last clip where you guys saw me finishing My Year of Rest and Relaxation, and I haven't had time to sit down and talk about it, and now I finally do. So I'm gonna give like full thoughts about all the books I read in this video towards the end, but for this I gave it a 3 out of 5. I believe I really enjoyed it at first. I felt like the characters started like very intrusive and very like shocking and stuff, but I feel like the shock value of the book kind of like wore off for me like halfway through, and at times I felt like the book was trying to be deeper than it actually was. I just personally would have liked more exploration into like mental health and stuff like that, but overall I thought it was like an okay book. I can see why people don't like it and also see why people love it. So those are like my quick thoughts about this. And then later tonight I'm gonna start The Virgin Suicide, and this is a book that has always intrigued me at first, like because of the title. It's just like, oh, very eye-catching, and then like the cover is very pretty. I have a friend that read it and I think she really really liked it, and I just have seen very polarizing reviews about this book, so I'm just interested to see what my thoughts are going to be about. I'm honestly not too sure what this book is about. I'm sure I have an idea what the book is going to be about based on just the title, but honestly you never know. From what I know, it's about sisters, but the story is told from two neighborhood boys that like know of the sisters, so we're learning about the sisters' stories through their lenses, I suppose. Like, I've seen comments about, I don't think some people necessarily like how this book is told through the male gaze. I'll see what I think about it, and I know there's a movie about this. I actually like heard of the movie for the book, so yeah, I'm gonna start this tonight, and I'm just really interested to see what this book is going to be about. Hello vlog. So it has been a while since I last talked to you guys, but I am at 50 pages exactly into the virgin suicides, and honestly I don't really know what to think about the book. It's just so early. Like, I don't necessarily want to say like I'm enjoying it. Oh no, I don't really have any thoughts. It's like what I'm reading is pretty disturbing. Like, some of the thoughts that these men have about these girls is very disturbing and really icky. And it's like all this tragic stuff is happening, yet you guys are like sexualizing these girls. Doesn't sit right with me. But the way this author writes just like really compels you and draws you into the story, and it just makes it so easy to read. Like, the story flows so nicely, so I'm really interested to like keep reading and see where this story goes on, because like I said, like, this is about like 5 sisters, and right now we've only kind of been focusing on one sister so far, like her part in all this. So I'm just really interested to see where the story just continues to go with the other sisters. I don't know what to think. I have a friend that read this, and like I texted my group chat and I was like, I'm about to start this book, and I'm like nervous because I've seen such polarizing opinions about this, and she was like, you know, just wait. And like she said, it was like hard to say that like she liked the book because like the subject matter, but it was like, you know, told in a very like compelling way. So yeah, so those are my thoughts so far. 50 pages in. I'm definitely gonna read some more of this tonight before I go to bed. Hey vlog, so the last time I talked to you guys, I can't even remember what percent of the book I was at, but I'm now at 56%, and I really want to get a big chunk of it read. It is currently Thursday, and I want to like have this video done by tomorrow, and I still have one more book I want to read, so I want to like hopefully finish this book by tonight. So we're gonna sit here and try to binge a huge chunk of it. I'm currently on chapter 4. I just started it last night, didn't get too far, but I just want to give you guys more updated thoughts because I think the last time I talked to you guys it was like very early on in the book. So now that I have a little bit over halfway finished, honestly I don't know what to think of this book. I feel like I'm gonna end up giving it a no rating. I just don't know what to think. I do find myself kind of getting confused because I feel like the timeline is switching back and forth a lot between showing the girls' stories from outsiders' perspectives to them getting accounts from people in the future. I don't know. The way he writes at some point is a little confusing. I'm like, okay, are we in the past or the present? And I'm a little like confused on when like more stuff is gonna happen, because I feel like we're at the beginning part of the book we were so focused on Cecilia, and I feel like now we're getting a lot more focused on Lux. But I'm like, okay, we only have so much of the book left. Like, are we gonna hit all the other sisters? Kind of feel sorry for these girls. They have been like failed in every way. I'm not gonna like spoil anything because this is spoiler free, but there's a high school dance scene, and it's like kind of like sad that was like the best time of their lives. It seemed like their household is just not the best, and the way boys viewed them is not the best either. And I'm just like, wow, these girls deserve better. But reading this makes me really want to watch the movie when I'm done, which I'm for sure gonna do. But yeah, those are just my thoughts so far. I'm gonna sit here and try to at least finish chapter 4, and then maybe take a break and then just finish the book. Hello vlog, it is a lot later. It is 10:27 and I have finished The Virgin Suicides. I did end up giving it like no rating. I'm gonna give more of my thoughts at the end. The last 20% was definitely like shocking how everything carried out. Like I wasn't surprised that it happened because it tells you on the back of the book that all the girls died, but how like all was carried out was like, oh wow, this is how it happens. Like I was just expecting something way different in my mind, how it was all played out, and I don't know, it's just so interesting just how like his writing just captivated me. But like I just thought there were like some things that weren't necessary to put in this book, certain words, dialogue, but at the same time I feel like this book did good at showing like the problems with like the male gaze and stuff, and it's how like weird and creepy the boys were towards the girls. I don't know. Next I'm gonna read The Dead Poets Society by Robin Williams. Oh wait, that's just not who this book is by. Next I'm gonna read The Dead Poets Society by N.H. Kleinbaum, and I have watched the movie to this multiple times and I really enjoyed it, surprisingly, because I usually do not like sad movies. But I wanted to do one more book for this video, and it's a short one, so I should finish this by tomorrow. It's under 200 pages and I'm gonna start reading. Hello guys, so it is the next day since the last time I talked to you guys, and I did finish The Dead Poets Society this morning, and I'm sorry I didn't get a lot of footage. I was honestly just ready to finish this book because I've been filming this video for so long. So we're already like at the end of the video, but I'm just gonna give my full recap for all 3 books, starting with The Dead Poets first since that is the most recent I read. So I gave this book a 3.75. I don't even think I told you guys what this book was about, but basically it's just about Todd and his friends that he meets at this academy. It's set in the 50s, so it's a very rigid preparatory high school. So as you can assume, the boys are under a lot of pressure, and there's this new teacher, Mr. Keating, who tries to like give these boys a new look of life through poetry and just looking at the world in a different way, and saying that they have more to them than what they were set to pursue by their parents. I watched the movie to this my freshman year of college, so a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, I'm really excited to read this book, which I didn't know that this book was made after the movie, which I thought was interesting. I thought the book came first. I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just what I got based off the reviews. But I did like still seeing the differences between the movie and the book, because I think this book is based off like the original screenplay, and obviously they're going to change a couple things in the movie, so it was fun to like see like the different changes. While I did like the movie better, because personally poetry is just not something I'm that interested in, so like all the poetry stuff I did not really like reading about. When it got very poetry heavy, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm reading something for school. But other than that, I liked everything else, but I just like seeing that poetry aspect in film rather than reading it. But I did think in this book we got a better dynamic of the boys' roles in the school and how truly intertwined they are with like the community and how close of a friendship they have, which I think they showed well in the movie as well. But I just felt like I got more of it in this book. The ending still hit the same for me, just as it did in the movie. If you know, you know. So that was something I liked about this movie, or about this book. But overall, like, I did enjoy reading this. I literally read this pretty quick. It was a nice short read. It's under 200 pages, and I definitely recommend, if you have thought about reading this book, I would totally recommend reading it. I think there's a lot of good messages in this book, and you should definitely check out the movie after reading. And then of course I started off this vlog reading My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I actually gave this a 3 stars. Just for a little recap about this book, it's about a girl who decides to take a year off and just relax and simply just sleep by a bunch of meds, and we just see her journey through that entire year. And I've seen a lot of people like actually really like this book, like even people who don't gravitate towards this genre really liked it. So I was excited to see my thoughts, and I thought the premise of this book sounded really interesting. And in the beginning it really had me, but honestly as I kept going and finished it, I just started feeling really indifferent towards it. But I felt like as the story kept going on, it was really relying on shock value, and the character will say some things I was like, oh. And she wasn't the most likable main character, which is like, for me, that's not important. Like, I like reading about non-likable characters because like, oh, like how could you think that? Like, it's kind of like entertaining. Like, some of her thoughts were really entertaining, but after a while I was like, okay, like I don't really want to be reading about this anymore. Like, there's no type of growth you would expect with her going through this experience. Her mindsets and stuff would change, but she honestly just kind of stayed the same person in my opinion. And I just felt like with the topics it was trying to talk about, it was very surface level. It wasn't as deep as it was trying to make it, and I wish there was like more exploration of other topics such as grief and mental health in this book. Again, I feel like all that was surface level. At the end of the day, I think it's like an okay book. If you're interested in this book, I think it's still worth checking it out because it may resonate with you a lot and it may not, but who knows. And then the last book I'm going to be talking about is The Virgin Suicides. As you can tell by the title, it is about virgins who committed suicide. Well, I think virgins is more like a metaphoric word in this sense. I gave this no rating, which does not mean that I did not like the book. It's just generally, I don't know how I feel about the book. It was my first read of the year. The last 20% was definitely shocking to me. I think I talked about it like in the vlog. I feel like that's when a lot of stuff happened. I don't know if I fully explained it when I started this book, but this book is about the lesbian girls and how like they all like committed suicide within a year, like right after each other. But you're seeing all this from the perspective of the neighborhood boys who are watching them, but like the boys like kind of see them in a very romanticized version and sexualize them a lot, which I understand was a point of this book. And I feel like it wasn't until when more tragedy struck is when they're like, oh, like they're kind of actual people. I just feel like the poor girls in this book were literally failed by everyone in this town, everyone around them. It's so sad. And I just thought it was kind of disgusting, some of the comments that were made in this book and how the girls were viewed by the boys, like I said earlier, which I understand is like the point of it, but like that doesn't mean it still can't disgust me, even though it was the point of the book. My thing is like, even though I have like those problems with the book, this book still captured my attention from beginning to end. I feel like the story flowed nicely, even though at some points I did get confused, but other than that, it was pretty easy to follow. Yeah, I just truly don't know where I fall on a 5-star rating scale with this book. I honestly probably won't ever give it a rating. The book is just what it is, and I think that's perfectly fine. So these are all the 3 books I read for this video. It was really good to read books out of my comfort zone because I mostly read romance and thrillers and mysteries. So it was really nice to get into like some literary fiction, have some books with some deeper meanings, but I am definitely glad to get back to my fluffy little romances. That is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below any thoughts you guys have on these books or any books I should read if I decide to do this type of video again. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.